Rossley.
Rossley, 3297 Classic Drive. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Snellville City Council members. Thank you for your service to our community and the efforts you all do to address the concerns of the citizens of the city on a daily basis. We are truly grateful for your service in this regard to us and know that you all work hard to be unbiased in all of these situations. Having moved inside the city limits in 2021, I'm a newer resident to Snellville and to the Summit Chase community, and have enjoyed my time in this city these last few years, especially as it has grown in size. I am here on the item of the rezoning of the request to amend the Flum and the Summit Chase Country Club. And I think there is a lot here for us here that want to say the same thing, to keep intact the character area of Summit Chase while allowing for the owner to sell his land for reasonable use within the existing zoning designation of the property. Today you received an electronic mail from the Stop Summit Chase Green Zone Rezone. The information contains 3 major sections, underscoring the City's Council previous decision regarding the nearby Soleil development, rebutting some of the inaccurate claims from the developer's attorney in the March 20 email to the Planning Department, as well as addressing the owner's comments made in the March 24th City Council meeting. While I will not spend my time reading the email, as you all have that in your correspondence and your email inbox and can review it at your leisure, I do want to mention something that I've been doing in the meantime to try to help amend this. I appreciated Mayor Pro Tem Warner's insights into these negotiations recently, as I was not aware that those things had been approached to the Summit Chase HOA. Some of us who are newer residents of Summit Chase are helping to drive the effort, and we're not around when those previous board decisions and we're not aware of those conversations. In my 4 years here as a resident of the Summit Chase HOA community, I do not ever recall our board reaching out to us, the members of the HOA, with any of these proposals he mentioned. You will note I said previous board. I do know the former board of the HOA is no longer in place, with the residents having elected a new board the last several months. I would not want to just come up here and say anything in opposition empty-handed. While many means have been exhausted by Mr. Britt, the owner, I have reached out to a small handful of golf course management companies throughout the nation, and if they would be even willing to entertain a discussion about a 9-hole course in this area. I have heard back from 2. They are willing to discuss with the owner, should the owner be willing to converse with them. And I'm happy to pass them along to the owner or to you all if you so desire. I also suspect that the new board of the HOA, and in fact the HOA itself, would be willing to be more open to looking at the covenants for something like an 18-hole par 3. I do think that those of us who are newer residents in the neighborhood understand the value that the country club brought to the community, and see potential future value for us as residents as we continue to move in to replace former residents. In the end, I personally want to see the city as a whole come together to find an equitable solution for everyone involved, including the property owner who has invested so much in this community. I would think that we all want to see Snellville live up to its city motto, where everybody is proud to be somebody. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Weiner.
Hi, Council, Mayor. I'm Barbara Aho Weiner. I live at 1391 Summit Chase Drive. I have lived there since 1997. Much as my children like to come back to visit, they no longer visit, and the reason being there's too much traffic in Snellville. There is less traffic in Powder Springs, Dunwoody, Peachtree Corners, Athens, Augusta, and North Augusta. They absolutely hate Snellville traffic, and it's just getting worse and worse every day. Last week, I had 2 deer in my backyard. I was happy but also very sad because I realized since the blasting for Soleil, our wildlife has diminished greatly. I don't see the egrets anymore, I don't see the blue heron, even the fish in the lake have diminished. If this continues, this will be an irreplaceable loss of wildlife. We definitely on Summit Chase Drive feel the effects from the blasting at Soleil, and the new proposed neighborhood will be even closer. That's going to cause even more damage. The house shakes, we hear the noise. You are our elected council. Please be Snellville where everybody is proud to be somebody. Please let us be somebody that you listen to, and listen to the Planning Commission that voted unanimously against approving this new building, and to listen to the growth plans that they had for Snellville. That property that they're talking about has vast granite amounts. Soleil didn't want it because of that, and actually Gwinnett County also looked at that property at one point, thinking about making it a park. And the Commissioner Watkins said, because of the granite, they cannot do that.
Ma'am, it was because of the access.
Do what?
It was because of the access. There was not enough public
no,
access for that to be a park.
At the county meeting, though, he said because of the granite, they could not build the paths that would be under the American Disability Act. We already have so much traffic on Rosebud and 78 and Summit Chase Drive because of the cut-through. If the people on Classic are going to have the same thing if this new building comes through. The traffic is terrible. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Mila Lolo? Ma'am, if you could just speak to us, please. If you have something you would like to show us, you could leave that with me.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mila, 3251 Garment Drive, South Wind Subdivision. My name is Mila. I have been a resident of Snellville for 17 years, and I'm proud of mother of 3 beautiful children that are raised in the very house that is now under threat due to the proposed project. Our home provided happiness, joy, and peace, a perfect place for raising a family. We renovated the place with our own hands. It was everything I had dreamed about. My beloved husband and I have been working tirelessly to improve our beautiful property that had previously been in despair. We dragged it out of foreclosure and gave this house second chance back in 2008 and worked hard ever since for last 17 years, investing our time and money to keep it up. Much like many of my dear neighbors with their properties who had hoped to live here for decades with the peaceful plan to enjoy their houses for decades to come, including for their retirement. Now it's all under jeopardy. All of the effort we spent just to learn of plans to bulldoze and surrounding area for the next decade. It's appalling. It's an invasion in our right to peaceful living. It's an invasion of our backyard with the plans to blast and destroy the land that is now home to abundant flora and fauna. Current plans include constructing almost 43 houses directly along my property line. Directly, 43 houses. Goodbye to privacy, goodbye to green space, clean air, cheerful birds singing in the morning. Everything we enjoyed and cherished for the last 17 years will be gone. I came here as a refugee from a war zone fraud from the bombing, vandalism, terrorism, famine, destruction, and hopelessness. My family lost everything that we had for 3 generations. And I started from ground zero. Now, 32 years later, I still have nightmares and post-traumatic stress that keeps me awake. I remember those bombs. I can still hear them in my head. I can't even imagine all that blasting noise that it comes. There are 648 properties in the surrounding area that will be affected by this. Why must we give in to huge corporate property business that have nothing to mind but dollar sign? They just want money to squeeze every last drop out of the land we have been blessed with. They don't care about the native wildlife who already have had much of their habitat destroyed and have nowhere else left to escape to. I took care of my mother in the house in her last years, and I'm very sorry for you, Papa. My mom had 3 strokes, and 4th one took her away. But I was trying to prolong her life as much as I could. I took care of, and she was in my house, and she had blessing with us. And she loved it, all that natural, that quietness. She enjoyed it, and I have so much. Thank God that she was, last year of her life, she lived in that peace. She lived happily in my peaceful and quiet house. Now I'm raising my beautiful granddaughter, newborn baby, that needs quiet space for her nap times and everything. And we enjoy very much. I myself, 10 years cancer survivor that takes each day as a blessing, and I want to enjoy the fruit of my labor and have a place for future generations to thrive in. I see rare birds and coming back to my backyard year after year to raise their babies. They know they are safe here. Blasting solid granite rock in such close proximity to us will damage our foundation, our pool, the structural integrity of our home, our septic tank and plumbing system, our health, our sanity. It is unacceptable. The addition of 125 houses and demolition of the current region will be devalued 648 single-family homes that are part of established neighborhood. This shall be stopped. Rezoning must be denied. As a realtor of 18 years, I'm very proud and happy that Snellville become a happy end residency for many, many Californians, New Yorkers, people from Illinois, Washington, and many other states looking to invest their lifetime saving to establish happy future here in our community. We want to have a peaceful place that we can come back to recover, to rejuvenate, to continue our everyday battle to survive and keep going forward no matter what overcome obstacles in our lives. We all pay religiously our property taxes, and we all deserve a little bit of respect, consideration, and protection from our local government in return. We never complain about living in lightless street like from 19th century. We have maybe one light that works maybe few days in the entire year. We do not have any sidewalk for our kids or pets to walk safely. We still quietly paying our property taxes. And yes, I think our voices deserve more than 5 minutes to be able to express our feeling. I hope you will hear our voices, our concerns, and actually listen to our SOS message. A few years back, we witnessed perfect example of community being put first before the profit of abandoned property put in good use. Look at the beautiful Alexander Park in Lawrenceville. The surrounding
Ms.
people
Bello,
in school enjoy it all year round.
in respect of the people who are still like to speak.
It has been beautiful transformation and created much needed green zone for many generations to come. I'm not opposed to change, but we must put the well-being of the community at the forefront of the discussion. We should strive to be models for another American towns to follow, to showcase that we listen to the people and the value of our enshrined right to life, liberty, and the pursuit for happiness. Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
is the plan around my house.
Thank you.
If you're interested.
Mr. Brainerd.
Well, top of the evening there, Snellvillians. My name is Bob Brainerd at 1555 Timberline Trace. And I haven't done this in like 40 years, you know, I was in college, a class council representative a couple times, so here I am looking at you fine folks. So, and in any event, we moved down here from New Jersey, the land of the ethically challenged, about 27 years ago. And we haven't regretted anything about it. Why? We're in the land of the good people here. And I've traveled this state extensively. I think I've been in over 100, how many counties? 154, 57? This is a big state. It's really beautiful. And we love Snellville. And when we first moved here, there were about 200,000 people living in Gwinnett County. Well, turn the clock to the present. What is it now? Over 1 million? We get it. Wildfire growth. That's what it is. And I mean, you're trying to catch a tidal wave with a beer mug at times. I get it. But, you know, it should be contained a little bit too. A lot of points have been covered all over here. You hear traffic, traffic, traffic. Yeah, I mean, even Stevie Wonder could see there's going to be a lot of traffic coming down Summit Chase. I mean, we might as well put toll booths there and make some money off of it, because it's going to be, instead of Summit Chase, why don't we just change the name to Indian Trail Road? Why don't we change it to like Jimmy Carter Boulevard? Because that's the amount of traffic we're going to start getting down there. But it's a quality of life. And I mean, there have been a lot of points that have been pounded down here, and they're not off the mark. I mean, there's the granite there, you know, on the ladder 9. Anybody who has ever played golf there, I have. I'm horrid at golf. And, you know, you hit the ladder 9, it's nothing but granite. Your balls hit it and it just bounces all over. We would get on average about 2 to 3 golf balls, you know, a season in our yard. I don't know what our neighbors got, you know, who were, you know, facing the golf course. But, you know, I just can't see just the, you know, putting homes back there, you know, all these mini little homes, you know, it's going to be blasting nonstop. And it's you know, you're fooling yourself if you don't think it's not going to disrupt the infrastructure when it comes to the water pipes, the gas, the radon that's going to come on up. Now, I get it. You know, there's property rights, and, you know, a person can do with their property, you know, what they want if it's within the confines of the law. But with the rezoning right here, this is a sneaky Pete move. There's no doubt about it right here. Trying to maximize the profit. But it's at our expense. It's at our expense right here. And that's one of the things that I just hope you find people right here, you stand firm, and I mean, frankly, if there's ever a whiff of like, we live in a litigious society, and if there's any like, you know, concerns about legal retaliation, well, bring it on, big boy. Come on, bring on your blood-sucking lawyers, and let's do the right thing. That's how I feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Radley Smith?
Thank you. Bradley Smith at 1319 Summit Chase. I've been blessed in my career and opportunity to work with in law enforcement, specializing in crime prevention through environmental design. I lectured and worked with communities, particularly all over Gwinnett County, for many years in my 40-year career. And what we would do in environmental design is we make recommendations to communities and based on the quality of life. And that was what Gwinnett County grew in from the 1980s especially, is while people wanted to move here, it was the fastest growing county. Shortly after that, I wound up in the foreign mission. I was in Bosnia when they had the mission there. When I returned from Bosnia, I wanted to continue living in Gwinnett County, and I wanted to choose the place where I could find that quality of life to have some peace and quiet. For the years I spent over there, I needed it. Now it's time to play with my kids and my family. I chose Snellville. It was based on the quality of life and my experience. I did investigations into law enforcement, the quality of life here in its various communities, but particularly Summit Chase. It was known all over Gwinnett County actually as that's a very nice place to live. Very low crime. So I was very involved in the community, both sometimes with the board and also with the Summit Chase Country Club. I've known Don for many years, and where he has stated to the council, and I heard tonight about his investments into Snellville and his kindness to Snellville, we too were very kind to him because I, like many others, and I brought other people into his country club and to the golf course. But times have changed, and he sold half that course and is gone. But now looking at the quality of life, we're looking at building a subdivision within a subdivision. And when you're doing this in the quality of life, you can't just put a street, dumping it into another subdivision and quarter it off and call it a win. It does affect the community. Already, as has been testified here by many of the residents, as well as in the presentation that you heard previously, that Summit Chase Drive has turned into the thoroughfare from 78 to Rosebud. We don't even go out to Rosebud anymore. You can't get out there. It backs up from 78 all the way down past Summit Chase. It's over. It's done. Because it's not just Snellville that's growing, it's that whole corridor out Rosebud. But now we're faced with it. So simply I would ask for the consideration of the Planning Commission that spoke to you before this. They turned it down, and they turned it down for a reason. The voices you hear tonight, the voices you've heard before, they're here with a passion. When I came back from Bosnia, I invested into Snellville. I invested into that community. That is my investment. That is my home. So when we talk about his investments, you need to multiply the homes and investments of what these people have. And if it comes into lawsuits and concerns, or it's going to happen anyway because it's going to go before the courts, I ask this. That is referred to conscious liability. Conscious liability is when we make decisions based on how can we stay away from the courts, how can we stay away from lawyers. But there comes a time when we have to stand up and say, what is right and what is for the residents and the people for whom we trusted in Snellville to say, this is our home. Thank you, and I hope you'll consider and do not change the Planning Commission's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. David, I'm not sure how you say your last name. Come on forward.
I'll help you with that last name. Hello, my name is David Mpich-Tori. I live at 1410 Summit Chase Drive. I currently am a member of the board of the Summit Chase HOA, and I'm here to speak about the covenants that were brought up, and thank you for bringing those up earlier. I've only been here for 2.5 years, and I, like yourself, joined the HOA as soon as I could, but I don't have aspirations like you did, being where you are, and never will. So the covenants, they can only be released by 2/3 of the votes of the members of the board, not of the board, of the whole HOA. So the board could release, but that would open up ramifications of
county. We heard he offered it to the city. They could not think it was feasible or affordable to maintain it. And so how are 126-person HOA going to afford to maintain the 29 acres of open space with additional buffer strip, 2 large ponds, several detention ponds, 3 tennis courts, 2 pools, an industrial kitchen, clubhouse, and maintenance
Ms.
barn?
Pollack, if I could, just for a moment.
Yes.
You can continue on with your comments, but our role in deciding a rezoning is not to decide how a neighborhood is going to support the amenities that they're choosing to have.
Thank you. So the point of the concept plan review, according to the UDO, is to encourage logic, imagination, innovation, and variety in the design process, and to ensure the soundness of the proposed development and its compatibility with the surrounding area. So I would imagine just like a rough estimate or a basic conversation to decide whether or not it's actually a sound project would be warranted. So the people who would be buying these homes, they would be paying $500,000 to $600,000 for their home on a quarter-acre lot, and then what more would they have to pay for an HOA fee to cover all of those expenses? And what type of people are going to have that kind of money to buy that expensive of a house with exorbitant HOA fees on a quarter-acre lot? And wouldn't someone with that kind of wealth, would they want to buy a house on a quarter-acre lot? And I just see like the granite outcroppings, and I wonder, is it possible for that to be a detention pond? Because that's what is on the site plan. I see the slopes. Is it possible to keep the water from rushing down into the streams and the lake? I see all the trees that would need to be felled in order to make room for these homes. And I wonder, are the detention ponds that will they be able to replace those root systems that soak up all the water off of the granite outcropping? And I see secondary conservation areas that are supposed to be protected by our UDO. And how can those be protected with this current site plan? And I also see a builder with no experience building subdivisions or blasting. And is it possible for him to undertake such a project with complicated topography so close to existing homes? I don't see how this site plan accomplishes the purpose of a conceptual site plan review according to the definition that I read earlier. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Julie Reese?
Hello, my name's Julie Reese, and I live at 1343 Summit Chase Drive. And I'll be quick because I know it's getting late, but I just wanted to see whether or not everyone here is fully aware of the amount of silt from the Soleil and other surrounding projects that are already coming into the Johnson Lake, and then on down into, it goes underneath the dam and then goes into the lower section of Johnson Lake and then goes into Big Haynes Creek. And our house is situated, my backyard is the lake. And we're on it all the time in kayaks. My daughter lives on Timberline Trace with her husband and my 3 little grandkids, and we're always on this lake. And there are multiple culverts and 3 different streams that come into the lake, and the silt buildup is tremendous in just the last 2 years since Soleil started building. It's awful, and I know you probably won't, but I'm going to offer an invitation to anybody who wants to come out to my property so you can see it for yourself, because I think it's hard to imagine how bad it is unless you see it for yourself. We'll have iced tea, I'll stick you in a kayak, we'll go out there and look at it, but it's really serious, and I'm concerned about the health, not even just of Johnson Lake, but also Big Haynes Creek, which I know is protected. So just please think about that too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kate Finsick? Sorry, I said Kate. Kit.
Hi, my name is Kit Vincic. I'm from 1410 Summit Chase Drive. Hello, council members. Thank you for your time in hearing the concerns of my fellow neighbors this evening. I know it's late, and I will be going quickly. You obviously may recognize me as one of the spokespeople for the rezoning opposition. And this 6-month-long effort that I've been involved in volunteering in to help protect our area has come at a significant personal expense, but I have learned a tremendous amount along the way. My home is neither directly on the lakes nor the golf course. However, I see the small lake from my front porch swing, and so it feels like my yard. And I've taken great care in the process of rehabilitating my backyard to benefit the wildlife that calls our neighborhood home. The environment is a primary reason why I became involved in the rezoning opposition. With all of the development in our city, our innocent wildlife population that can't speak for themselves and can't help themselves is constantly being disrupted and their habitats destroyed. So I feel like it's my duty to be a steward of the Johnson Lakes, the Big Haynes Creek watershed, and the surrounding land. In speaking with you, Mayor Bender and Councilman Carter, I was empowered and inspired to get involved in our community and do good where I can. I've spent the last month crafting a backyard habitat initiative in order to help neighbors create viable habitats for birds, mammals, and pollinators in their yards. So I don't have any solutions tonight for the rezoning, but I do have solutions that I'm working on for our neighborhood. I'm in communication with UGA Extension Services for Gwinnett Communities, along with independent master gardeners. I've signed up to volunteer with the Snellville Community Garden and gain tips from them on native species that will thrive in our neighborhood. And thanks to their annual spring seedling sale, I recently added beard tongue, zinnia, brown-eyed Susan, borage, parsley, basil, peppers, and tomatoes to my yard, in addition to starting from seed, sunflower, coneflower, sweet William, and a variety of veggies and just veggies. Last month, I gifted a fruit-bearing tree to someone down the road who spoke earlier, and just yesterday, another person who spoke earlier from Zermatt Way offered a gift plant to my garden. Next month, I'm hosting a seed and seedling swap in our community, and in June, I'll be a leader in the Lake Cleanup Day. Opposing threats that damage our wildlife and violate our rights as homeowners is important. Being proactive and working to improve our environment is even more crucial. I wanted to make you aware of this effort and let you know that I'll keep you up to date on our progress. The character of these neighborhoods is why I put everything into moving to this specific area. The properties are unique, they're loved, invested into, and there's a reflection of the residents in the presentation that is evident on any walk through our neighborhoods. When folks visit, they often comment on this oasis and how magical it is, and I smile and just say, why do you think I moved to Snellville? I trust you, our current elected officials, to ensure that your decisions now will protect our best interests for decades to come. I invite you, as others have tonight, to watch a sunset over Johnson Lake so you too can experience the magic there. Helping to preserve that can be your legacy. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your time tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate your efforts in the habitat and everything that you're doing with the community garden. We always appreciate that volunteerism. And if you're creating habitats for wildlife in your backyard, we have a couple possums and some armadillos we could rehome. Yes, thank you. Yes. And I'm not sure on the last name. Is it Hanol Ishu? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Hannah Isha, and I'm originally from East Africa, Eritrea. We moved here.
Can I get your current address?
Yes, 1312 Green Turf Drive.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We moved to Snellville in 2000, and we raised 4 girls and 1 son. He's only 10, but the old ones are graduated from South Gwinnett and already doing amazing things and bring it back to the community. What I would like you guys to be considering is what message are we sending for the ones that graduated and to want to give back. 3 of my kids already did the internship here, and one of them graduated from Georgetown. And when you see Snellville is being mentioned, South Gwinnett is being mentioned, even though none of you is in there, it gives you hope. And they always come back. One of them works for Muslim voting rights, and she volunteers to come to give back. We want you guys to consider the youth that voted for you. If any of you want to come visit what the damage is being done, please come to see it from our house. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And we're through the end of the sign-up. Is there anyone else that would like to make a public comment?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and I would like to say, echo with my fellow neighbors, I truly appreciate everything that you guys are doing, the sacrifices that you make to be on the board, the seen and unseen. We don't know all the things that you're doing, so I do appreciate everything that you're doing in the community and behind the scenes. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it has been, I'm Kat Hardrick, Buckley Trail. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I forget that every time I come up. But it's been brought to my attention. A very serious matter has been brought to my attention involving 2 council members who are allegedly in a romantic relationship. On March 24th of this year, Resolution 2025-05, the Certified City of Ethics, was renewed. While I respect everyone's right to privacy, when personal relationships intersect with public duty, it becomes a matter of ethics and accountability. This concern is not just about perception, it's about integrity. When elected officials are personally involved, it can compromise their ability to make impartial decisions and erode public trust. Residents deserve to know that decisions affecting their neighborhoods are being made with objectivity and without bias. Ethical conduct and transparency matters. Additionally, I urge residents not to be fooled by a convenient no vote regarding the Summit Chase Green rezoning from council members who are seeking re-election or considering a run for mayor. A one-off decision can be used as political theater meant to win your vote. Please don't be misled. Review their voting history regarding development projects. One is coming near you and one is already near me. Real leadership doesn't placate the public with performance. It prioritizes people over politics, integrity over influence, and truth over tactics. Our quality of life over the quantity of doors. Leaders are called to lead with courage, even when it's not popular or profitable. Leaders should never allow personal interests, romantic relationships, campaign donors, or anything alike to outweigh the needs of the community they swore to serve. We deserve better. We deserve leadership rooted in honesty, accountability, fairness, and consistent service to all, not just a few or the favored. I'll end with this. This upcoming municipal election is us citizens' opportunity to step up and run for office. Because of, as a fellow neighbor mentioned, it wasn't one letter, but 2 letters mailed by Mayor Bender to voters. As a result, we have the council that's here before you today. A council, more than not, has unanimous votes without much discussion or informative town halls to us, the people, the voters. I previously ran for office in 2021 and 2023. And in 2023, I closed the gap and went into a runoff by just 16 votes. The tide is shifting. Taxpayers are tired of being ignored, overcrowded, underrepresented, and dismissed. Let your voices be heard beyond public comment. So my fellow neighbors, I stand with you, as I don't plan to run again. I will support anyone ready to be the change, ready to run for office, ready to be the one who champions the vision of a Snellville where smart growth, protected green space, and the protection of our legacy residents coexist in a community that listens, respects, and serves everyone all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor Bender, Council. My name is James Doppelhauer. I live at 1371 Green Turf Drive. I've been there since 1985, Todd. Just a little over a year ago, in February of 2024, the council voted to adopt the award-winning Gwinnett County 2045 Comprehensive Plan. You're now considering a decision that is going to be contrary to that vote that you made just more than a year ago. I guess my question is does that mean it was a ill-considered vote, that you now regret the vote that you made then, or are you going to reaffirm the vote that you made then and keep the zoning as it was in that plan? I live on the Johnson Lake side of Green Turf Drive. The sewer lines that come from this neighborhood are going to come down Green Turf Drive. And it just so happens that those sewer lines aren't like every other sewer line in the neighborhood that runs down the middle of the street. These sewer lines run into the yards of the front yards of the people on the lake side of the street. They're not sized to accommodate all these extra homes. So they're gonna have to go in there and redo that sewer line. Meanwhile, tearing up everybody's front yard on the lake side of the street. When they're redoing that sewer line, the people who live in those homes are still going to be flushing their toilets and taking showers. And hopefully you consider what liability you might be incurring for the city, the citizens of Snellville, because Johnson Lake, as we know, is a federal watershed. And there's going to be sewer lines emptying from those homes, and the sewer line in the street's going to be torn up because they're making it bigger. And so what's going to happen to that? And is it going to contaminate Johnson Lake? So I'm just asking you to reaffirm the decision you made a year ago and keep the zoning as it is, because it was a wise decision that you made, and it's been state recognized how good the Gwinnett County Comprehensive 2045 Plan was. So, and you wisely made the decision that it was worth the city adopting it, and I don't think just a little over a year later you should make a decision to say that you were in error in making that decision just a little over a year ago. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Nice to see you, Barbara. Nice to see you again, Todd. I'm glad your dad's doing better. My name is Shannon Doppelhauer, his wife, 1371 Green Turf Drive. For the record, Don and Charlene Britt are our friends. Dusty, Van, and Frankie live across the street from us. I was a member of Summit Chase for 20 years, plus. Jim was a member for over 30 years. Our family was devastated when Summit Chase closed. That said, there is nothing to stop the Britt family from selling the property as an R30 development right now. Please also consider that the entry from the proposed development is coming through our neighborhood. Whether you like the aesthetics of the proposed development, White House with black trim after White House with black trim, after White House with black trim. Not only do the property sizes not match, but the houses do not reflect the charm of the homes in our neighborhood. Lastly, we heard at the last city council meeting how golf courses are failing and some of them just needed to close. But if anyone here is a golfer, one cannot fail to question why Summit Chase closed rather than, say, Cedar Creek, which is pretty much a goat track. And then you look at Providence Club and Monroe Country Club, where Dawn now works, both of which are flourishing. Perhaps if the golf members had been polled before the front nine was sold, Summit Chase would also still be operating. So again, there is nothing to stop the Britt family from selling the property right now as an R30 development. And as much as I like them as people, it is not the city's job to rescue the Britt family from questionable business decisions at the expense of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Tricia Rollins, 2088 Harbor Oaks Drive. Welcome back, Tony. I appreciate you before you left us to take Snellville Pavilion to court and get the accomplishment of stopping the trash dumpsters from being dropped in behind the residents' houses. That was about 5.5 years ago. I still appreciate it. But since then, we've done nothing. This council continues to support this shopping center and leaves the doors open to a shopping center that dumps trash for months and months. And don't blame it on Johnny Green, because Johnny Green has done his best. It's this council that does not stand behind him. We have shopping centers, a restaurant, that do not show up for court, don't pay fines until threatened. They are now cleaned up back there. Surprising this week is quality of life court. We see that over and over the last 20 years. And like somebody else said, it takes 20 years to do something for the residents here in Snellville. I understand you don't listen to me. I've gone up and down every street in the city and counted the lights that are out in the city. Nobody does a thing. The lights get turned on, they go out. Has anybody from the city approached the state, the county, or Walton EMC to get these lights back on? Our officers deserve more than stopping cars in the dark. 4 years ago, I brought to the attention of an officer having sex in a church. My hand was slapped, his hand was slapped, and put back out on the street. The officers were then set to harass me and target me. Okay, 3 years ago, came to this council with complaint of the fence behind Snellville Pavilion, falling down, has holes in it, coyotes that are in and out of the retention pond. 3 years ago, I came before you to complain about the Veterans Memorial. The light goes on and off for the since 2014. Just this past council, I asked for an answer why the light has been off for 32 days. No answer. 2 years ago, I came before you with Texas Roadhouse throwing sewage and toilet paper out in the parking lot, which runs down to a grill that comes down to my property. A year ago, we're back at City Council asking for help with noise, trash, the fence, homeless people behind there. We've asked for a nuisance for this property, but have heard nothing from this council. That's some of the bad things that have happened to me in the city. Somebody else brought forth the coffee building that looks awful. That's the talk out in the city that y'all don't hear. Y'all want to get up here and talk about all the good things, and I do appreciate the community building coming. That's 20 years in the making. The town center, all our money goes to the town center. Who knows if this is going to even progress, because according to Gretchen Schultz and the class she took, it's going to be 80-year-olds in 10 years around here. Who's going to walk and go to a livable, walkable community? You want to know what's good about Snellville? Look out here. It's the people of Snellville, and you're pushing them out. This development was an RS-30. They were sold a bill of goods to come in there and take up residency, and now you want to pull it out from under their feet. Listen to the people of Snellville, because you're losing them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close the public comment and entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 5 in favor with none opposed. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Drive home safely.